The following episode is brought to you by Poison City Brewing, proud makers of Durban Poison Cannabis Lager, the beer that invites you to live your poison.
The revolution will not be televised. The revolution is here. It's real hip-hop music from the soul, y'all. Yeah, check it.
How's it going, ladies and gentlemen? My name is Nasip Zwane. I'm back again with another episode of Sludge Underground podcast. Today, as always, we have another epic artist on the show. This guy does hip-hop, and I actually discovered him on Instagram, on one of the Instagram ads, and I was just mind-fucked, as always. So I'm gonna need you to introduce yourself, bro. Let the people know where you're from, and then we can basically take it from there. There's a lot to talk about today.
Definitely, man. What's up, guys? My name's Crusif. I'm a South African hip-hop artist, predominantly from Pretoria. I spent a lot of time in the States, went to music university, and now I'm just out here doing my thing, just helping people through my music. And thanks for having me on the show, fam. I appreciate it.
Hey, man, that's super dope, man. And it's really interesting that you mentioned that, you are from South Africa. How long ago did you head over to the States?
I went over to the States when I was, I think 11 years old. And then I finished up high school. And then I came down here for university. I studied at M&D Music College for like about a year. And that was in 2017. So since then, I've kind of just gone back and forth between the United States and South Africa, depending on where I'm really needed on music and stuff like that.
That's really solid, bro. And what would you say you actually learned, heading from South Africa to America? I mean, how are things that side? I mean, what did you pick up heading to the States?
Well, one of the biggest things that I picked up in the States was definitely the culture itself compared to South Africa it's so different. In the United States, almost every single state has their own individual small country. So it's like I lived the majority of my time in Oregon, which is on the West Coast, right above California. But then it's there in Oregon, it's very it's more forest and rain and all that stuff. And it's very more, like farmlands and stuff like that. So it's very agriculture wise there. But then it's if you go down to California, it's that's where everything's happening. That's where all the stars are. So it's it definitely varies from state to state that you live in. But I think a big thing that I learned from being in the States, as actually from more being back here in South Africa, it's definitely the way that media works, the way that just the culture itself is just it's a complete different world here, and compared to almost anywhere in the States, it's definitely crazy.
And what would you sort of say was the motivation behind you moving over to the States? Was it more of a family thing, or was it more of a choice thing? Did you decide one day, hey, I want to go to the States? What was behind that whole move?
Yeah, so back in it was 2008 when I first went to the United States. I went mainly because my parents, they got an opportunity to go work there. So I just went with them naturally. And then went to high school there, went to middle school there, went to elementary school there, and just kind of grew up as an American per se, But the first 10 or 9 years of my life, I grew up in South Africa, and now I'm mainly back here. I came back in 2017, and it's just been it's been kind of a wild ride, because I didn't expect the music industry and scene to be as hot here as it is over in the States. So I was kind of blown away, wow, things are actually happening here music wise. So I was it was a pleasant surprise.
Yeah, and something you mentioned as well a bit earlier when you were just explaining, you did say that over in America, the media and sort of the mainstream media and all that is very different from here. What would you say the differences are, especially for you, as a hip-hop artist? What would you say some of the differences are between, say, the music scene out in America where you were based and the music scene, down here in South Africa?
I would say a big thing that I noticed right off the bat is here, it's not as huge as over there. All the music there seems to be kind of worldwide. You know, like you have artists like Drake, Eminem, like Beyonce, which they're like incredibly worldwide known artists. So it's like you instantly like hear about them all the time in the media, and it's like they're worldwide. Then when you come here, it's way more like what's the word? It's way more, I don't know, continental based on the country wise. It's definitely a lot smaller, but I feel like here it's more like impactful to the culture here and to the people that live here. You know, it's more based on the people and the society here in South Africa, like aside from like how it is in the States, where it's like it's not really based on a specific people. It's more like just anybody and everybody. And I feel like here in South Africa, since it's based, to me anyways, all the music, all the big artists that I see here, it's so like focused on the people and focused on the country that it's just like it has more value to offer in a sense, you know? So that's another difference that I've noticed between like the differences between the industries.
Yeah, and obviously with you, I'm still obviously gonna get, you know, when you started making music and stuff, but I don't suppose you started doing this like yesterday or while you were here in South Africa. It must have been a very long time. So say now in the instance that you started making music while you were in the States, you know, how did that whole process sort of start out for you? And how was your sort of time there as an artist, you know, while you were in the States before you came back here?
So I started making music. I was about 14. So I think it was back in 2012 or 13 when I started writing. I was introduced through, actually, let me back up a little bit. Right. I never really had a background in music. I never like started playing the piano or whatever when I was younger. I always kind of just listened to what my parents were listening to, which was like the music they used to listen to back when they were kids. So like the oldies and stuff like that. Yeah. So I never really listened to hip hop or pop music or any type of mainstream current music. Until I was hanging out with one of my friends and he kind of introduced me to hip hop, and I was like, yo, like I knew about hip hop, I knew about rap, but I didn't really know anything about it, you know? And I was introduced to hip hop around the time that, we were dealing with a lot of like, family issues. So I was kind of looking for an escape, you know, something that just like, I didn't really know what I wanted to do, like how to cope with what was going on at the time. So my friend introduced me to hip hop, and I started listening to a lot of artists. I started listening to like Lecrae, Eminem, Hobson, all these different types of artists. And the one thing that, like hit me was like, bro, these guys are like talking about exactly what I'm going through in my life. You know, like I could relate to so much of what they were saying. And I felt like I kind of had a voice, you know? So then I started just messing around with writing. Didn't really think it was, and this was about in eighth grade. It was eighth grade. I just started messing around with writing. And then I felt like, you know, why not try to dabble in making some music? Then when I got to high school, which was about 2013, that's when I first started. I saved up a little money, got Fruity Loops, started making beats and stuff, started writing. And that's when I felt like I kind of found my voice. And then throughout the years, I've just constantly been at it, been improving, been finding ways to really challenge myself, as opposed to like, when it comes to like my skill and my technique and my proficiency and consistency and message also, because throughout the years, a big thing that I've realized is I don't want to just release music just for the sake of releasing it. Like if I release something, it has to be something that I've personally gone through. So yeah, music is definitely, since the very beginning when I first discovered my love for the culture of hip hop and hip hop in general as an art form, I've had major respect for it. And I think it should be used for, you know, to lift people up and to spread a positive message regardless of like the things that can come with it.
Yeah, and it's interesting what you mentioned there when you started explaining that, and that, there were some family issues that were happening. Would you say that the content of your music is something that would be consistent of, or would consist of, the things that you're going through in terms of family issues? Like, what is the content that you usually write about? What else can we sort of expect from, your lyricism and your music?
Yeah, so a big thing is definitely dealing with depression, feeling like you're kind of there's no one really to turn to. So for me, when I was dealing with like hella depression and hella just mental health issues, basically, the one thing that I could always turn to was music and writing music. Those things, like, I never felt ashamed, I never felt scared, I never felt judged. I felt more understood and more cared about when I would listen to like these artists, regardless of the genre, talk about, the same issues that I'm going through. And I'm like, bro, if they can get through this thing, and if they're helping all these other people, I want to do something like that, obviously it wasn't like that at the very beginning when I started, because it was difficult, because I was like, trying to figure out what I really wanted from this whole thing. So definitely the issues that you can hear me talk about, a lot of my music is, just stuff that people go through that I feel like isn't talked about enough. Like I said, depression, anxiety, loneliness, struggles in general, whether that's relationship, financial, vision, encouragement, all that stuff. So it's varied. It's definitely varied, fam.
That is ultra, bro. And obviously now I just want to sort of get into your name. The first thing that had me, Crusif. It's very different. What is behind the name, bro?
Well, originally my first hip hop name was, my stage name was Crucify. That's what I went through. I used that for about the first 4 or 5 years of my career. But it never really had a like legit like meaning behind it. I'm Christian. My background is Christian. So I felt like I wanted to, I guess that's kind of where the inspiration from the name came from in a sense. But the name itself, I feel like it doesn't really have a, real like strong meaning behind it. It's just something that came to mind, and I was like, okay, I'll stick with it. And over the years, it's kind of like changed a little bit here and there. But like about 2 years ago, I asked all my fans, I was like, would you guys rather have it be Crucify or Crusif? And then all of them said, just go with Crusif. It's way better. So the name has gone through changes, and I feel like that kind of represents the changes I've gone through as an artist as well. But as of like meaning behind it, I guess that's something that I'm still trying to figure out to this day, but I think I'll figure that out once I figure out, exactly, who I am as a person. But I mean, like, I'm just 22, so I have a while to go. So.
Yeah, and actually, I think I sort of picked that up as well. The whole Christianity thing with you mentioned Lecrae being one of the guys that you used to listen to, and then you mentioned obviously the Crucify and whatnot, and I think some of your ink as well, if I'm not mistaken, one of the pictures. I don't know if it was a cross or whatnot. So I want to sort of dive into that, bro. Like, how much of an influence does Christianity and sort of religion have in you as an artist?
So definitely when I first started making music, that was like the centerpiece was trying to spread the gospel through my music, because I felt like God gave me this ability to be able to write and connect with people. But over the years, I've kind of shifted it towards more of like, how can I put it? It's kind of like if you've ever listened to NF, NF, same with like, that's kind of the way I look at it. It's not the centerpiece of my music, but my music is definitely influenced by it. I don't try to push my views and beliefs into down people's throats, but it's definitely, if you really listen to the lyrics and you listen to the songs a few times and you like inspect the lyrics, then you can definitely see there's hints of my faith and my relationship with God through that. But it's not something, you know, I would say I'm more of a hip hop artist and then a Christian as opposed to a Christian artist, you know? So, but yeah, like you said, if you go through lyrics that I've written in the past, even lyrics that I keep on writing now, and you really research and dissect them, then you can find that meaning. But then also, because the way that I write my lyrics now, I write it in a way that someone can look at it from both ways. You know, they can look at it from their own standpoint and get something out of it, and you can look at it from my standpoint and get something completely different out of it.
Yeah.
So that's one big way that I approach when I write a new song, is like, how can other people still relate to the song fully, but have the song keep the same message that I intend for the song? And so far, like, all I've been receiving is love from people all over the world, and how the music is helping them. And I mean, like, at the end of the day, that's what I feel like my life is called for, when it comes to writing music and producing, bro.
Yeah, and you also mentioned something interesting just now with how, you know, your fans had sort of a big say when it came to you changing your name. So sort of walk me through, you know, your process and growth from when you started making music. Walk me through the time when you started realizing that, hang on, I've got fans, I've got people who are engaging in my stuff, I've got like a fan base and stuff. You know, when did you come to that realization, and sort of, you know, what was sort of your process towards sort of reaching that goal?
Well, at the very beginning of this whole journey, it was very based on, I was just more looking at this whole thing as an outlet, you know, as an escape from what was going on around me. It gave me a way to vent, even if no one back then was listening to my stuff. And I guess over the years, as I continued to put out song after song after song after song after song of just how I feel and what I'm going through, over time, you know, it's like, just from sheer consistency, people started, I've noticed the same people coming back every time I release a song.
Yeah.
The same people coming back, and every time they came back with 2 more people, and those people came with more people. So over time, it was kind of just like a snowball effect. And I mean, now I release a song, and, you know, there's just, I wouldn't say it's a sea of people, but to me it feels like a sea of people. But I think, to answer your question, when I first started realizing that, whoa, I kind of have like an influence in these people's lives, what would definitely be, I think the biggest would be this year, especially because this year the growth has just been insane. The growth, the reach with my new series that I'm doing, the That's Nasty series, with my consistent music that I'm uploading, with me engaging with my fans. It's like, dude, there's people like, I did my first Instagram live like 2 weeks ago, and I was like, bro, I didn't expect all you people to show up here and just ask me questions and talk. It kind of blew my mind. It's like, what? You know, like it was very surreal, but it's very humbling, because it's like, these people kind of like see me as I see my art, my favorite artists. Yeah. And I take that I hold that very close to my heart, because it's like, you know, at the end of the day, I'm just a regular dude. So it's very surreal. It's very surreal. So yeah, I would say this year's the year that I realized that, wow, now I actually have like a legitimate reach when it comes to what I say. And that's just going to keep on growing. So I'm very thankful. I'm very thankful.
Hey, that is well said, man. And, you know, just looking at the kind of hip hop that you do, and just considering, you know, how mainstream is sort of, if anyone's doing hip hop, it's almost always like mumble rap, especially now, like the past few years, especially. So what is it that made you decide, I don't want to be like a mumble rap artist? You know, besides, you know, obviously your influence and the artists that you listen to in today's climate, what is it that made you be like, you know what, mumble rap, cool, they're doing their thing, but I want to sort of, you know, be different and be on the side?
Yeah, I guess like a big reason, because I started making music like probably a year, 2 years right before mumble rap actually came out and became like a mainstream thing. But I guess like a big influence was all the artists that I were listening to. It was like, you know, it's like it felt like they were talking to me. they were conversing with me, and I could like respond through like whether it's emotion or going to write something. So now it's like regardless of what, because I wouldn't say I have a particular style. I like to do kind of, I just like to make good music regardless of what it sounds like. So I'm not really locked down to any particular style, but whether I'm doing like a trap beat or a orchestra beat or a lo-fi beat or an old school boom bap beat, I always want there to be some sort of conversation. Like, you know what I mean? When it comes to if a listener's listening, they're like, oh, he has a point there, or stuff like that. So, and I don't personally listen to any mumble rap really. Most of my hip hop consists of like, Eminem, freaking Jay-Z, NF, Lecrae, Hobson, Tech Nine, Dizzy Wright. All of these artists consists of very deep lyricism that you can understand and that you can really like. Obviously, I have my songs where it's more just like chilling, just like hanging out, just producing a vibe for the people. But then I would say the majority of my content has like a heavy underlying message that I always want to get across to who's ever listening. And I feel like that's also helped with building my fan base that I have right now, because I feel like they know regardless of what type of song I'm putting out, there's going to be a deeper underlying message that they can get from it just from listening to the song a couple times and really, like I said earlier, dissecting the lyrics.
No, that is really special, bro. And, just now touching on, the recent happenings and what's happening basically around the globe, with the whole Black Lives Matter movement. I saw that you actually released a little something. But before we even talk about that track, what I want to know from you is sort of how this whole Black Lives Matter sort of movement makes you feel. I mean, I want to get your perspective, your thoughts on the whole movement and what's been happening, as of late, especially as someone who has resided both in the States and in South Africa, bro. What are sort of your thoughts on this whole issue?
Yeah, dude, it's definitely heartbreaking when I look at just the sheer amount of time that this whole thing has been going on. I mean, like, this has been an issue since before I was born. It's something that I only came to really notice when I was when I was hella young. I don't remember the exact age, but I've noticed that there's always been this issue when it came to the way people view just different people of color regardless of race. And I said this in my post, I could never understand how you can just hate or dislike somebody purely based on that fact. And the more that I've talked to the people in my circle and we really thought about it, it's like at the end of the day, this thing stems back hundreds and even thousands of years. And the more and more I really look at this thing, it's such a psychological issue. It's such a psychological issue that I feel in a way it's never really going to solve itself until the majority of the human population realizes that it's much deeper than just, at least in my opinion, it's much deeper than just the pigment of someone's skin. It's really a mental, it's a way people think. It's ingrained in people's minds. And I feel like it's not going to change unless there's just a widespread revolution, a widespread change of heart, change of thinking, change of just how you view the world, how you view people, so that's a big reason why I felt like I was actually putting out That's Nasty, where I spoke my mind. I was actually very I don't think I've ever been that scared to put out a piece of content, because I don't think I've ever written something that has that deep of a message and a meaning and that impact that can impact so many people. Because I don't want to come off as somebody that's just getting on the back of the horse of hip hop and black culture and kind of just trying to profit off of that. So I was very scared, because for me, I more just want to get my opinion out and let people know that for me, it's at the end of the day, all this stems down to hate. And that's something that I can't tolerate with my platform, with my music, with my life in general, with my view as a Christian. I can't tolerate seeing stuff like that. It makes my blood boil and it breaks my heart at the same time. So I really felt like that it was the best way for me personally to get my opinion across and let people know that, bro, I agree. I stand with you guys. And yeah, like I'm kind of shaking because it's like, again, it's like, yeah, it's a very, very heavy subject, but I respect everybody that is standing up for, what's right. And I will, till the day that I die, I will continue to fight for that with whatever voice that I have.
And that's really great, bro. And how has it sort of, the track, that's nasty. How has it sort of been, received by the general public and your fans, bro?
Dude, it's actually been just received insanely well. Like, I've gotten messages from countless people telling me, this is what the world needs right now. And I couldn't agree more. Same with because I don't really I don't really look at the numbers, like the following growth grows up. Like, I more look at, the people that reach out to me and say, yo, man, what you said right there, I felt that. Or in the comments where people say, bro, this is needed. We love this. Thank you for this. Thank you for the message, or people that share it. And so more people can see that this is how I feel. And this is how the majority of the people that listen to my music feel as well, and that's really heartwarming to me, because I know that when I see stuff like that, it just makes me think, it's like people genuinely want good, and yeah, it pushes me to continue to put out music that helps, that more, not really helps, but makes people think and pause for a second, like, whoa. That's also why at the beginning of the That's Nasty track, I put the speech Martin Luther King did about the mountaintop, how, he more metaphorically was on top of the mountaintop, and you could see the horizon and what lay there and what was to come, even though he wouldn't be able to reach that, and it's the same how for me, I see that, and it's like I can kind of connect with that, because, we're all right now at this mountaintop where we can see in the future, like the day where this isn't really going to be an issue anymore. But it'll only be like a question of when that will be a realization in real life. Not in real life, but like in society and in reality, and just the way we live our lives. So yeah, dude, it's a big one.
Yo, dude, this is really special, man, and it can actually just feel sort of the emotion and the connection, when someone's listening to that track, and even the way that you're speaking about this, bro, you can feel that it's actually something that is actually deep, and I think that that's part of the reason why people, appreciate it, that they can connect with you, in whatever you do. And just, one of the final aspects that I want to sort of touch on is having been an artist, from you had been doing your thing in the States and you have been doing your thing this side here. How has sort of the reception been here in South Africa of you as an artist and the music that you make? Or is it still sort of like predominantly your fan base is mainly out in America, or like what's the situation with that?
Yeah, I feel personally, and just from what I've seen, dude, the amount of people that have embraced my music here it blew my mind. Like, it's definitely way more accepted here and easier, I feel like, for people to hear my voice and my music as opposed to in the States. Because in the States, dude, it's like, bro, I'm not even gonna front, bro. The high school I went to, every kid and their mom wanted to be a freaking rapper, So it's like, it was so saturated. But here I feel like, it's still like hip hop itself here in South Africa is still so new in a way. And it's still growing, and it just gives me an ability, or me the chance to really have people hear what I have to say. And so far, I mean, obviously you're going to get haters, but I mean, that's something that doesn't really bother me, but it's been an overwhelming, just mind-blowing experience so far of just the sheer love that people show towards me, and the music. and it's insane. It's insane. I couldn't even name everybody or thank everybody enough that's just like contributed here in South Africa to the music and this year, and it's just going to keep on going. And I just want to touch more people and help more people, regardless of where. So it's definitely, I would say my reach is definitely bigger here in South Africa than it was in the States. So.
Yeah, and when you look at the artists that are sort of prominent in South Africa, man, which would you say you'd be keen on working on if you're looking at sort of the hip hop sort of in South Africa? Yeah,
dude. To be 100% honest, like when it comes to working with people, I'm very selective. I feel like as an artist, it's kind of like it should be your job to keep your integrity and to not just hop on anybody's stuff, regardless of how big they are. I feel like if the person that I collab with can provide the listener and their audience with the same amount of, like opinion and quality that I can produce for my fans, then obviously I'll hop on the track. But one person, like I've been, just looking around, and I guess right now I'm more like in a study phase because it's like a completely new world, to who's who here. But Nasty C is definitely one guy that I would love to work with. I think his stuff is like hella sick. Like he was the first artist that I heard when I came back to South Africa and started like looking around. Ricky Rick. He's one. AKA I think is dope. He kind of has like that kind of a Drake vibe. Yeah, dude, and just everybody in that circle. There's too many for me to name. And another thing, it's interesting to see how like here you also have like those guys and they're at the top, but it doesn't seem like they're really affected by like the people that are in the States, which I think is super like interesting. And it's cool to like just see what everybody's doing. But I feel like right now, the biggest thing for me is for me to kind of just continue to do what I'm doing until the day that, I'm more noticed. Like I'm noticed by them, because I don't really want to just be like, yo, let me do a track with you because you're bigger so that I can like get publicity and all that stuff. I feel like it's like I've gotten this far by myself and doing this, so it's like I'm going to get there sooner or later. But yeah, I would still love to work with a lot of those people, man.
Yeah. Another point that I just wanted to touch on, we almost at the end of the show, bro, is your folks, bro. How have they sort of reacted to you being a hip hop artist?
It's kind of funny because none of my family like have any knowledge or anything about hip hop. So it's kind of like at the beginning it was kind of funny because I was taking it seriously when I was like hella young. I was like, dude, this is what I want to do, and they couldn't really understand like, how are you gonna do anything with this? It's like you're spending all your money on like recording gear and all this like equipment so that you can make this music. But as time went on and they saw that, I've been able to get a return and get a response from my music, and it's taken me almost all over the world. It's kind of like their opinion now is definitely, I mean, they've always been supportive. They've never been like, don't pursue this. They've always been supportive. Like, and I know a lot of artists aren't in that same position, and that's very sad, and it breaks my heart because the road of being an artist and pursuing something as big as music, it is the amount of mental strain that it has on a person and the amount of focus and consistency it takes and effort it takes. You have to have a support group around you that can lift you up in times when you feel down. Because I mean, like, I'm a pretty like, what's the word? I'm a pretty chill guy. I'm joyous most of the time. But, even I have my days where I'm like, bro, like this song is taking just so much energy, or I release something, it doesn't reach my expectations. So, and then, my family always comes and it's like, well, I mean, bro, you're only 22. You got to keep on doing this. You can't quit now, bro. And so it's definitely, they've been one of the biggest pillars for me, and also my friends. So yeah, they've definitely been one of the biggest pillars in me doing this music since like 2013 now, and now it's like starting to turn into a career that's sustainable. So I'm very, very thankful. Even the fans, dude. Yeah. Like I'll post something on my Instagram or my Instagram story, and the fans will reach out to me and be like, "Yo, bro, what's going on? Yo, bro, you okay? Yo, bro, how are you doing?" And just for me, like a lot of artists would see that and be like, "Oh, look at this. Look at all these people that just want my attention." To me, I see it more as like, bro, it's like, this is an extension of my family, you know? Like some of these people have been here since day one. So it's definitely, it's game changing for me when it comes to my mental state and my emotional state. But that's just what drives me, what keeps me going, bro.
Hey, that is very solid, bro. And obviously, future-wise, what's sort of in store for you? What do you have planned before we close out the show with all your contact details and stuff?
Mm-hmm. So right now, I'm currently busy working on 3 new singles. One single, I can't really give any details of it, but the release date is on the 3rd of July. So
my birthday.
I think that's next month. Yeah, the 3rd of July. Hell yeah, bro. And then aside from that, definitely going to continue with this That's Nasty thing every Wednesday, and new That's Nasty dropping on Instagram. And that's going to consist throughout the rest of the year. I'm going to keep that going. As for music videos, it's kind of difficult right now with the whole lockdown situation. So, but that's definitely, I've got a lot of things in the works. A lot of singles are planned. A lot of big collabs are on the way. But yeah, man, just, there's so much that it would take like an hour to just say. So singles, That's Nasty series, music videos. I'm already in the midst of planning, with some friends of mine, planning shows. As soon as everything opens up, then it's like shows all the time. Yeah. And I can't wait for that to happen because that's one of my favorite things is performing. So, but yeah, man. So lots in store.
Hey, that is really solid, bro. Where can people sort of get in touch with you if they want your music, if they want to if they want features, if they want to work with you? Social media, this is your chance to plug, bro.
Yeah, so the best place that I tell a lot of people to reach me is either through my Instagram, all my social medias. You can just type in @Crusif, CRUSIF music. Or just look up Crusif on Google and you'll find me. You can also, my email is just like my Instagram handle, which is crusifmusic@yahoo.com. You can find my music is available on Spotify, iTunes, Google Play, literally any platform that you can think of, it's there. And you just have to type in Crusif. Again, that's CRUSIF. And you'll find me, man. So I'm very accessible.
No, that is really solid, bro. And before we close out the show, I want you to give me a track of yours that we can play out with that people can enjoy, and sort of why that track.
All right, man. I'd probably say my track Bon Appetit, which dropped, I think that was March or something that track dropped. But yeah, bro, Bon Appetit is definitely the track to go with right now. I feel like to give people just kind of a little bit of boost of motivation to get through this last little few days of lockdown, bro. So yeah.
See you, bro. So guys, we're closing out the show now. Thank you so much once again, bro. We will let the people, we'll release the episode and we'll chat, bro. Thank you so much.
All right, man. Thank you for the opportunity, fam. Sweet. I appreciate y'all.
All right, guys. So that was Crusif. And guys, thank you so much for tuning into the show. It was really epic having him on, and I really hope that you guys enjoyed it. Catch all our episodes on SoundCloud. We are Sludge Underground Podcast. On Apple Podcasts, we are Sludge Underground Podcast. And obviously on Spotify as well, Sludge Underground. Please tune in. Let us know what you think. And obviously on social media as well. Twitter @Sludge031. On Facebook, Sludge Underground. And on Instagram @Sludge031. Our Patreon account is up, so do check it out in the description. One of the links in the description below. And we're going to be closing out with Bon Appetit by Crusif. I'm going to leave the links to his track right here below as well in the description of the episode. And yeah, guys, it's been epic. We've spoken about a lot. Please tune into our next episode coming real soon, and get in touch with us via email if you want to let us know about anything or any suggestions. It's sludgeunderground@gmail.com. Until next time, enjoy. It's Bon Appetit by Crusif.
Lately I'm losing my mind, somebody give me a sign. 2020 got the vision loaded, ain't no way I'm standing on the side. Homie, this is do or die. Listen, I'm bringing the fire. If they don't wanna pay attention, listen, I'ma put them all up in the line. Yeah, ain't nobody ready for the renegade. Been at it for 6 years, boy, no minute maid. Now we're getting paid. Done taking shots straight to the face. It's about time that they know my name, cuz ain't nobody wanna be broke. Motivation, try to kill another show. Standing ovation. Can't believe this came right out the basement. Don't forget the bodies on the outfit, David. Like, homie, don't tempt me. I'll put you 10 feet. This is embarrassing. Y'all just pretending. I think that we got a problem. Somebody grab me a coffin. Honestly, kid, I don't know what you're doing, but I think you ran out of options. Been up all night working. Why does it feel like I'm just always scratching at the surface now, yeah? I think I deserve it, yeah. Boy, I've been at it since a young age. Now we say bon appetit. Please excuse me while I grab a seat. If you part of squad, know you gon' eat. You know I'ma never give up on my dreams. You know the feeling you get when they lacking respect. Ain't it appealing? Knowing that you finna break all their necks. Listen, I'm really just trying to get all my demons in check. No one come near me, otherwise I'ma be stopping your breath. Homie, this isn't a warning, I promise you don't wanna step to me. Aim everything I got in your trajectory. Say what you wanna, but nothing's affecting me. Watch me dissect the beat, really no one can compete with me. I will not give it a piece, at ain't no more decency. Ran up the infantry, I think I had an epiphany, yeah. Listen, everybody better get down. The money in the bag, finna skip town. When offended with these funny looking damn clowns. Papa's in it and you wonder where your man's down. That's the reason why you got a little buzz in the first place. Wait about a month and they finna get a replacement for your sake. Man, I hope that they keep that single in rotation, cause been up all night working. Why does it feel like I'm just always scratching at the surface now, yeah? I think I deserve it, yeah. Boy, I've been at it since a young age. Now we say bon appetit. Please excuse me while I grab a seat. If you part of squad, know you gon' eat. You know I'ma never give up on my dreams. Please excuse me while I grab a seat. If you part of squad, know you gon' eat. You know I'ma never give up on my dreams.